Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome to another video from JP Tech. In this video, we're going to talk rumors. We're going to start talking about some Intel and AMD rumors that are floating around on the internet right now. And so I'm going to share what those rumors are, and then I'm going to let you kind of hear my opinion on it. Because some of these I think are true, and others kind of have me scratching my head. So let's go ahead and dig into those rumors right now. So let's go ahead and start this out with the most interesting rumor that's on the internet right now. Everybody seems to be sharing this rumor right now, and it's all about consumer Zen 2 Ryzen 3000 series processors. So when we look through this table, we see that the table actually starts on 6-core Ryzen chips, and then it goes to 8-core chips. So pretty typical to what we are used to now. But then it goes to 12 cores, and then it goes to 16 cores, and these are all with SMT, of course. So that's 1632, that's 1224. But that's not even the crazy part. It's not even that crazy that we're talking 12 and 16 cores on consumer grade platform. What's crazy is the 12 core starts at $299 US, that is, and the 16 core, guys, are you ready for this? The 16 core 32 thread processor on Ryzen consumer motherboards starts at $449, and the more expensive version is very expensive at $499. Can you guys believe this? I can't believe it. I don't think this rumor is true, to be honest. I at least think the 16 cores is not happening, or it's not happening at the price point that they are showing on this table. And there's just a few things that just don't sound right to me in this table. And let me go ahead and share those with you, okay? So I said it started at 6 cores, right? That's the Ryzen 3 3300. That's a 6-core 12-thread setup with a turbo clock of 4.0 gigahertz. $99. What? $99 6-core. So basically what we're looking at here is like a 2600 for $100 with a 50-watt TDP. I don't think the TDP is too far out there. I think that's probably pretty close, being the die shrink and everything. So what's interesting here, though, is the 8-core has a 4.4 gigahertz boost clock. That's the cheap 8-core. That's the 3600. If you go to the 3600X, we're talking about 4.8 gigahertz of boost clock, which is very interesting. But here's the real kicker. The 3600 is expected to be $178. The 3600X, $229. What? Are you kidding me? So we're going to get a 2700X that's on steroids. It's going to have better cache performance. It's going to have an IPC increase. It's going to have better RAM performance. And on top of that, it has a 4.8 gigahertz boost clock. And we're going to get it for $229. So we're going to get that for 2600X prices. I don't know, guys. I don't know. This really has me scratching my head. I mean, AMD's already blown it out of the freaking park right now with cores per dollar. Like overall threaded performance per dollar, AMD can't be touched. So you want to talk about a bigger improvement than what we saw from Zen to Zen Plus, minus $100 off the tag? I don't know, man. I don't know, guys. On top of that, what's occupying the $299 and $329 prices that we're familiar with now, we're familiar with 8-core components that don't boost clock beyond 4.3 gigahertz. But Ryzen 3000 is going to change that, apparently. Ryzen 3000 is going to give us the 3700 and the 3700X, which is going to be $229, $329, and get this, This is the best part about this table is that better 12 core 3700X is going to have a 5 gigahertz boost clock, 12 cores, 24 threads, along with that cache and memory and IPC performance I already talked about, for $329. What? Let's keep going though. The fun doesn't stop there. For $449, we're looking at the 3800X. This is a 16 core, 32 thread powerhouse that sees a 4.7 gigahertz boost clock, and it's again $449. And then last but not least, there's the 3850X, the most beastly of the 3000 consumer lineup apparently. 16 cores, 32 threads, $499. 5.1 gigahertz boost clock. Are you guys buying this? Are you guys buying this at all? I'm having a hard time. I've been seeing this result all over the internet. I'm just not buying it. Like, I just don't think it's true. Because here's the thing, right? Here's the thing. What's the next best competitor, right? We have Intel's 9900K that's typically selling for like $569 US or more. That was during Black Friday, $569. And yeah, I know they have their 14 nanometer shortage, but I don't think that that's causing quite the upcharge that processor demands, big picture wise. I think that's just Intel. I don't know what it costs to make their chips, but focusing on the point here is we're looking at $569 for the best 8-core out there right now, basically. Best 8-core consumer, and there really isn't much of a better 8-core option altogether. So what would Zen 2 need to do to beat that? Well, they've already talked about the more sensible things. I don't know about that IPC 29% increase. Maybe that'll happen. But let's just focus on if they improve cache performance, if they improve overall memory performance, and they increase clocks, single core clocks up to near or at 5 gigahertz, and especially if we can overclock all cores to about 5 gigahertz, which would seem reasonable based on what Ryzen does. Usually Ryzen can overclock to its boost clock, single core boost clock. Same with Intel. Usually you can at least overclock to about the boost clock. If they make those improvements, that's already going to put them IPC on or better par with Intel. And if they make those clock improvements, the next, if it's what I thought the 3700X would be, which is just a better 8-core, and they kept it at $329, it would already blow the 9900K out of the water, and it would be vastly cheaper. It would be $240 cheaper. Intel's not beating that. They're showing no signs of beating that price point. Now, was Zen 2 supposedly offering a $499 chip that can do a 5.1 boost clock and has double the cores and threads of a 9900K? That's just insanity. I mean, in AMD already doubled the cores and put Intel in hot water as it is. They really don't need to do it again. It doesn't even make sense from a business perspective to increase the performance of your 8-core, well, really the 8-core chips. It doesn't make sense to improve the performance of your 8-core chips and then slice $100 off of them when you don't need to, when you're already in territory that is yours. There's just not an 8-core 16-thread chip out there for $330. Period. Let alone, as powerful of a processor at that price point. It doesn't exist. So, I'm not doubting that maybe some information on this table is real. I'm not even doubting that, AMD might even make a 16-core on the mainstream platform. What I'm doubting is probably the price points. And I'm also, here's the other thing, I'm also kind of skeptical of the clocks. We don't generally see, and this is just following trends, but we don't generally see more expensive, more core processors have higher clock speeds. That's just not something that characteristically happens. But maybe this is what happens in AMD. That's their way of trying to force you up the line. Or maybe even those lower clock 6 cores and 8 cores, maybe they can still hit close to 5 gigahertz. Maybe that's just how they're putting them out of the box to make that value proposition for people that don't want to touch them and to entice you to go up the line. Because AMD's notorious for making processors, i.e. the non-X processors that can basically clock the same as their X counterparts. So I don't know, but I think it would be very valuable to have a 6-core Ryzen processor that could boost to about 5 gigahertz, and that table doesn't represent that. I think it would also be beneficial for the 8-core to be able to boost up to 5 gigahertz, and I'm not sure exactly why it's on the 12 and 16 core models, but nonetheless, very interesting. I think this table is very interesting. I would not consider it fact at all. I think my mind will be blown if this table becomes true. I just cannot express that enough. If what is on this table becomes a matter of fact, Intel's screwed. Like, Intel's gonna be closing their doors. Like, I don't know what they're gonna be doing. I can tell you right now, though, if next year I can get the 3850X 16 core 32 thread processor for $499 and it clocks like they're saying on this table, I'm gonna buy it and I'm not even gonna look back. It'll probably be the last processor I would ever have to buy for a really long time. So that's enough harping on about AMD and that latest 3000 series Ryzen table that's out there on the interwebs. You guys gotta let me know what you think in the comments. Do you think this is real or is it fake? But I'm gonna finish this up with some Intel rumors that I think possibly a little bit more true, but I don't know. Let's go ahead and get into that though. Not nearly as exciting as the Ryzen 3000 table, but here we go. There's this rumor floating around that Intel's finally gonna make some K-series KF chips that don't have the integrated GPU. Now, everybody for the longest time has been wanting an Intel processor, a K-SKU especially, that doesn't have the iGPU, because most of us don't need it, you know? Of course, more recently we've seen that the iGPU can help in Premiere Pro exports, but really that doesn't even matter that much, not even to like the biggest YouTubers, I don't think. I think it's more of it was a cool video for them to make, you know, based on the fact that it exports faster, but I don't know who really needs that iGPU for just a faster export. Like, it's not like they're cranking out several videos a day, you know. Maybe there's a use. Maybe I'm just underestimating it, but here's the thing. Most people don't want that iGPU. Most people are using dedicated graphics cards, and much like me, that iGPU is just sitting there doing nothing. My thing is, as much as I would like to see this, as much as this would help the value proposition for Intel, I don't see it being worth that much. I really don't think. Like, what are we going to save, $20 or $30 if they take the iGPU off? Like, at this point, any savings is good, but that $20 or $30 or something that I speculate could be saved from removing the iGPU is not going to make a better value proposition against Ryzen. So, cool. I like options, you know. And another thing too that I forgot to mention on the Ryzen table is that we're going to see higher core count Ryzen chips that have integrated graphics as well, and I think that that's great. Options are great. The fact that Intel has forced iGPU upon the mainstream for this long, I think is ridiculous. It's nice that it's gone, but I just don't think that it's going to save us much in the end. But it'll be cool. It'll be cool to see it gone. So the other rumor on the block, though, for the blue team is a 10-core 1151 socket mainstream Intel processor. Like I said, not nearly as exciting as that AMD news. 10 cores though. I don't know. If you guys have been following the 9900K at all since it's come out, the only thing you know about it is that it's expensive and it's hot. What's this 10 core chip gonna do? It's gonna be more expensive and more hot. It's just not gonna, I don't know. It's just not good for Intel. I don't know what to say. Like, it's just not a good time for Intel. They sat on the shitter way too long with their 4-core stuff. AMD actually stopped blowing smoke and released a processor that is worth a darn. And Intel's just treading water right now, and eventually they're not going to be able to tread water anymore, and they're going to sink. They need to make big changes. They're having production issues on 14 nanometer. It's just not looking good at Camp Intel. The 10 nanometer has been pushed back I don't know how many times. It's just not looking good. This 10 core processor needs to be like $500 for current CPU prices. A good 10 core from Intel that didn't catch on fire when you turned it on would be pretty darn good at $500, but it's not going to happen. If this 10 core thing ever happens, and it happens before Zen 2, it's going to be like $800 or something crazy. You know what I mean? And then you'll have to pay another $200 if you want hyper-threading, because that's just what Intel's doing right now. I don't know. It's crazy, but you guys gotta let me know what you think in the comments. If you like this video, give me a thumbs up. If you guys want to see more from JP Tech, hit subscribe. And until the next video, guys, I'll see you around.